Everybody, I'm Chris.
And I'm John.
Welcome to
Board
the
Game
Fellowship. Board Game Fellowship. I said that wrong. Done these in a while. We've had crazy things happen in life, so we're back. You've done some unboxing videos and all that, but I want to talk about Kickstarter today, or GameFound. Is that the other one? There's, and I think one more, but yeah, just the kind of some of the pros and cons of kickstarting games, and whether like maybe you've jumped into that and all that. Well, let us know in the comments what your favorite game that you've kickstarted, things like that. But I wanted to start off the conversation because I've kickstarted a bunch of games. I say a bunch. I've kickstarted several games.
Sure.
And you just kickstarted your first game.
Very first one.
The expansion to Silver. And so why do you have this pause with kickstarting games?
So my biggest issue is the timing of everything. Like, for example, whatever it was a few weeks ago when I kickstarted my first
Silver.
Game, Silver, because my wife and I just love that game, and they're releasing actually the next two games in that Kickstarter, Fang and I. But so it's paid for, right?
Yeah.
I don't get it till November.
Right.
When I buy a game, I want it right now. So it's like, I don't want to wait till November, but I wanted as quickly as I possibly could.
Yeah.
And I think that's how that works with Kickstarter. So,
but you order a lot of stuff off Amazon.
I do. I do try to support local, but
yes.
At the same time, I do order a lot of stuff off Amazon.
Right, and so you have to wait to get it then.
True, but it's a day or two. Except for this recent one, it took a month to get here. It kept getting delayed, which was very uncommon for Amazon.
Yeah. So just pretend it's a Amazon one and it just got delayed over and over. But
and that's what a friend of ours who kickstarts a lot. That's what he basically said. He goes, once you get kind of in that flow of kickstarting, eventually you'll start they'll be coming in. You keep kickstarting, and it's a year later, but you're kind of on that new flow of.
So you'll get a game every month or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I've kickstarted Ivy Studios and Facade Games. Both great companies, make a lot of fun games. But I think Facade. I think the first game I kickstarted was a game called Pharisees, which is like a Christian version of Mafia. So it's fantastic and a little bit irreverent, but it's fun. But yeah, so I kickstarted that, and then I saw Facade Games, so I got something in my I think it was just like a feed or something that said, "Hey, try this game out." And so I looked at it. I was like, "Oh, it was for Deadwood," and so I kickstarted Deadwood, which is my favorite of their games. But I remember kickstarting it, and I got like the print to play, like you could print.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly what I need.
It off ahead of time, so I did that, and like we played with cheap dice and all this stuff. It was fun, but I remember. It was almost this whole process that I felt like a part of a community, because there was like updates and stuff, and people were like, "Oh, I can't wait!" And then like they would share artwork and stuff with the people that had kickstarted it, and so I enjoyed that process actually, of the way Facade does their games. And the same with Ivy Studios, because they're kind of like, "Oh, we just got in the metal pieces," and they'll do like a little video, and so they kind of know that it's a long wait, and so they'll kind of give you things to make you more excited for the game to come. So it's like, "Oh, This just came out," or we just got this printed, or Clank Legacy 2 that I did not kickstart, which I'm still mad about. But yeah, they're like, "Oh, we're working on the script now," and so they give you updates like pretty frequently. So the people that are good at Kickstarter, so I like it, because it's a way for like smaller developers to kind of get their stuff to the table, because Ivy Studios hadn't made any games; they had done, I think, animation or other stuff. Like, hey, we want to get into board games, and so will you guys help us out? And they did a really good campaign for Moonrakers, and I bought it, and that game is fantastic. And I just recently kickstarted the new expansion for that, Dark Matter, and then it comes with Moon Rollers as well. And so I've kickstarted most of their stuff, and then same with Facade. Anytime they put out something, I'm like, "Oh, I'm getting it."
Yeah.
But those are the only two. It's because I'm like, I trust these companies, and Facade is doing, or not Facade, Ivy Studios is doing their best to make that time shorter. But they know, like, hey, they try to get out in the same year, which some companies don't. And I just read, I think it was on the Board Game Facebook group or whatever, they talked about how somebody got a game that's 3 years later, and they're like, my taste in games have changed. I don't even like this. Like, I'm not even excited about this game anymore.
Yeah.
And so I can see that. Like, if
that's ridiculous.
Yeah, if it's a long turnaround, because I know some games it's like it's a couple of years. I don't know that I would kickstart that. So, but did you have anything else of why?
Yeah. So the other thing for me is, and this is another reason why I chose silver, even at the lowest price point, because there's multiple packages you can choose, which I only needed the lowest price point because the bigger packages included all the games I already own. You get all the stretch goes. So you're paying this one-time fee, and you get everything. So I know there's some where I've looked at them, and if you're not on those higher tiers, you're not getting all the cool stuff that gets unlocked. And that's, I don't know, I feel like that's kind of unfair. It's like, it's almost, I almost feel like it's the early release for early access for video games now, where they're nickel and diming you for every little thing. And I just want to pay a price, and then get, the whole game. For that.
And then when there's like better pieces or better mechanics or things like, and so the expansion stuff I understand, like, you're going to pay more for expansions because it comes with expansions or whatever. But when it's, and that, this is what the thing I don't like about the Kickstarter or GamePound or whatever, because there are like the entry level, like, you get the base game, but it's like for $40 more you get the base game, but it comes with like some better pieces, and you're like, well, I obviously want the better pieces.
Yeah.
But then it gets so expensive that I'm like, I'm not gonna pay this much money to get this. But then I feel I have that FOMO or whatever that I'm missing out if I don't get the thing the best. And I know you're a collector, so you like to get all the best pieces and all that stuff. And so and I want the best, but I'm like, I'm not gonna pay for it.
Yeah. Well, and we talked about that. That's a pro and a con with Kickstarter. So Kickstarter, sometimes it's an exclusive. It's the only way to get that stuff is if you do it on Kickstarter. So of course, yes, let's do that. But at the same time, it's like, well, what if I don't get it until it comes out a year later, 2 years later, whatever, and I want those things, and now you're spending $400 on eBay trying to find those pieces.
Yeah, because Wonderland Wars, we didn't even know about it until our friend got it, and he kickstarted it, and then it was really hard to find.
Yes,
and I think you just found it recently.
Yeah,
it's still expensive.
It's very expensive, but I was glad to finally get it ordered.
Yeah, it wasn't on eBay that you're paying jacked up prices or anything. And so but if you've never kickstarted anything before, I'd say look into it. Find trustworthy, because they can tell you, like, it tells you on the thing like how many that company has made, how many things they've kickstarted before, and all that stuff. And you can find out if they're trustworthy or not. Ask around on forums or something like that. But I'm for it. I like Kickstarter. I feel like there are companies out there that probably don't need to kickstart stuff anymore, and they still do that because it's maybe more profitable for them. But we also had a friend that said there's certain companies like that it's hard to get games into stores, and so there's this company that he follows that finally got one in the Target, and that was a big deal because now that they're selling a more mainstream market or whatever, then they can make more money. But like a lot of games companies can't do that, and so for Kickstarter and stuff like that, I'm glad to get more board games out there for people to play and all that stuff, and especially if for those smaller creators, they're like, hey, I can do this, but it's just me making this game, and so it's going to take 2 or 3 years to find all the stuff and get all the things done. So yeah, I'm for it. I don't like the long waits, but if like Ivy Studios and Facade usually get it in a couple months turnaround, which is
and I'm glad you found both those companies because they're just so good.
Yeah,
like they don't ever release a bad game. Like they're so good.
Yeah,
so good.
I'm excited. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Let us know if you kickstart games or what your pros and cons are of kickstarting and whether.
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear whether they've had good experiences or bad experiences with Kickstarter.
Yeah, all my experiences have been really good, and so but find those good companies and check them out.
I guess I'll find out in November.
Yeah. but you bought the that. It's an expansion to the game you already have, so you know it's going to be.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be good. So. It's going to be good.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us. We will see you next time. Farewell, fellowship. I got that one right. Nailed it. I thought it was Welcome to the Fellowship. It is Board Game Fellowship. But, hey, we're going to... I don't know what we're doing.